Okay, I'll be going through this P4 non-PAR paper, M3 W8 paper. Okay, so let's begin. So, question 1, arrange the following decimals in decreasing order. So the word decreasing means from big to small. Okay, so let's look at which one is the greatest. So we're going to compare the four options. All right, so notice that all across the four options, all the first number starts with 7. So since the first numbers all starts with 7, there's nothing to compare. So then you move on to the first decimal place. So the first decimal place means the first number right after the decimal point. Okay, so if you look at option 1, this is a 0. Okay, this is 0, this is 0. All right, next is a 1. So since next is a 1, it means that this one is bigger than before. All right, so number 1 is out. You can cross out number 1. Okay, number 2 is out also because you notice 0 already, then it's a 1 right after that. Okay, so 2 is out. Number 3, 3 is a 1 and then a 0. Okay, but it goes back to 1 here. All right, so that doesn't make sense. 3 is out. Lastly, we look at option 4, 7.105, 101. Okay, so how we compare is that if we look at both that has the same 1, the whole decimal place same, then you look at the second decimal place. Second decimal place 0, 0. Okay, third decimal place is 5, then 1. So this is actually dropping, it's decreasing. Okay, and the next one will be 051, 011. So option 4 is obviously the answer. It's going from big to small. So I'm just going to rewrite this. Okay, the next one. So round 38.695 to the nearest tenth. So when we say nearest tenth means we look at the 10th place. 10th place means the very first decimal place, which is a 6. And then thereafter, you look at the neighbor on the right-hand side. Right-hand side is a 9. So we are going to check whether 9 can help 6 to round up. So 9 is a strong number. So indeed, yes, there will be rounding up. Okay, so 6 will turn to 7. So that will be 38.6. 38.7. So it's option 3. Question 3, express 5 and 9 over 25 as a decimal. Okay, so 25 is a very commonly used number for denominators. So I hope you know by now that 25, okay, you can't use 25 to change it to decimal right away. Okay, so whenever you want to express fraction as decimals, you gotta ensure that the denominator is either 10, 100, or 1000. So 25 is a very classic number that we can change to 100. How to do so? Multiply by 4. It's a very commonly used number, so if you have been practicing a lot, you will be familiar with 25 times 4 gives you 100. Okay, so don't worry if you haven't. You can, once you'll be more exposed, this will be very, very familiar to you. Okay, so this is denominator 100. 9 times 4 will be 36. So 5 whole and 36 over 100. So this will be 5. 5 whole is just 5 point. Okay, then after that, 36 over 100 is 0.36, which is 5.36. Okay, so it's option 3. Okay, next, express 2.003 as a fraction. Okay, so in this case, 2 is your 2 wholes. Right, notice that 0, 0, so don't worry about those. Look at the 3. 3 falls in the thousandth place. Okay, so when I say thousands, I'm actually spelling it with a TH. THOUSAN. Normally, when we spell the normal thousands, we just end it off with an S at the back here. Okay, but thousand would be like this TH behind. Right, so since it is in the thousandth place, that means this will be 3 divided by 1000. 3 over 1000. So your option should be option 4. Question 5, 8.175. So here what we want to do is to break it down into their place values. So 8 is just 8 whole. There's a 0.1. So if you notice 0.1 is actually just following the 10th place here. Okay. And then we have a 0.005. The 5 is just following the 1000th place. So which means this question is very straightforward because now you just need to fill up the one in the 100th place. And the 100th place is a 7. So in this case, 700 means 0.07. So it's number 2. Okay, so with 2 decimal places is 100. Next, 3.46 is 0.1 more than something here. All right. So to find out the blank, do we have to add or do we have to subtract? This is something you have to think about. Okay. So some students at this point, you're still a bit confused. You don't know when to add or when to subtract. Now, a simple rule is this. I will not look at the word is 0.1. I will focus on this is more than this. You see, I just highlight 3 things. 3.46 is more than blank. So that means that if I were to understand the phrasing here, this has to be the bigger group and this has to be the smaller group. Okay, which also means to find the blank, I have to subtract because that will give me a smaller value for the blank. So let's go on to do the subtraction. Now be careful when you do the subtraction, 3.46. Now we need to minus 0.1. Priority is to make sure that your decimal point falls in place together. So 0.1. It looks like that. Okay, this is the right way to write it. Now, of course, it looks a bit strange because the last spacing here, there's nothing there. So this is where you can confidently add in the 0. So what I'm trying to tell you is that 0.1 is the same as 0.10. Okay, so you can go on to do the subtraction. Okay, so this will be a 6, 3, and the 3 bring down the dot also. Okay, so this will be 3.36. So your answer is option 1. Now, question 7, a pen cost $2.60. Dinah bought 2 pens and gave the cashier $10. How much change did she get? All right, so 1 pen is 2.60. We're going to find the cost of 2 pens first. All right, so to find the cost of 2 pence means you have to use 2.60 times 2. All right, so when you show the times 2, it's simply just, you can just simply write it in this way. Let me just write properly again. 2.60 times 2. All right, so 0 times 2 is 0. 6 times 2 is a 12. Bring the 1 up. Bring down the dot also, don't forget. And you can do 2 times 2 plus 1, which is $5.20. Okay, so this is the cost of 2 pence, 5.20. So she's going to give the cashier $10 and you want to find out the change. So in this case, the change would be to subtract $10 minus 5.20. Now, of course, $10 is a whole number. There's no decimal there. So like what I explained in the earlier question, when you want to do subtraction or addition, make sure the decimal point is in line with each other. So 10 minus 5.20. So one way to help you understand where to put the 5 first is that you place a 0.00 behind the 10. Make sure the number of decimal places is the same. If here has 2 decimal places, that means your 10, you create 2 decimal places also, so that now you can safely put your 5.20 at the right position. Okay, so start to do the subtraction. This will be $4.80. So that's the change that I am getting. So that's option 1. Question 8, the total length of 1 yellow ribbon and 1 green ribbon is 8.7 meters. So each yellow ribbon is twice as long as the green ribbon. What is the length of the yellow ribbon? Okay, so if I were to draw a simple units model, yellow versus green, they say every yellow is twice of a green ribbon. So that means that the yellow, I will start off with drawing 2 units, whereas the green will actually be 1 unit. Now, and I know that the total length stated here of a yellow and a green is 8.7, which also means I can indicate here. This is your 8.7 meters. So there you go, you can find 1 unit now. So we can obviously see that 3 units is 8.7. So in order to find 1 unit, okay, I have to use my 8.7 divided by 3. Now I'm going to show you how to do the long division. Okay, so 8.7 divided by 3, 8 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Bring down the 7. You don't have to bring down decimal point, okay? Decimal point, in fact, we should bring it up here to the answer. All right, so now do the division. 27 divided by 3 is 9. And there you go. Okay, so it's a 2.9. So you should expect decimal for this answer, lah. Okay, don't stop at the remainder or whatsoever. Okay, go on to show the decimal. You should have 2.9 meters. That's 1 unit. So another question, what's the yellow ribbon? As we can see, yellow ribbon is 2 units. Okay, so we go on to multiply. 2.9 times 2. So we're going to show that 2.9 times 2. Okay, bring down the dot first in case you forget. 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5. 5.8. So there you go. Yellow is 5.8 meters. Now, in our question here, notice that they don't have 5.8. We can see there's a 5.80. So 5.80, like I said, is the same as 5.8. Like I said for the money earlier. Okay, so $10, you can rewrite it at 10.00. Okay, yeah. Those are the examples that I mentioned earlier. So number 4 is your option. Okay, let's go on to question 9, section B. So find the length of the rectangle given its perimeter. So let's recall the definition of perimeter. Perimeter means the total length of the outside. Imagine you're running around the rectangle. You're running along the sides of the rectangle. The distance that you have ran is your perimeter. Okay, so really it's just summing up the sides of the outer part of the lines. Okay, so now the question asks for okay, sorry. So now they have given us perimeter, which is 42. Now this is a rectangle stated. Okay, so we call this the breadth. The breadth is 6 cm. All right. So since perimeter is given, you must understand all 4 sides add up to 42. In this case, that means I will also go on to label this at 6 cm to remind myself that these 2 sets of 6 cm is part of the 42. Okay, so bear in mind. So perimeter means 2 breadth plus 2 lengths. Okay, so I'm going to find the sum of the 2 breadth first because I can see the breadth is 6 here. Okay, so this will be a good starting point. So 2 breadth will be simply 6 plus 6 or 6 times 2, which is 12 cm. Now, with the perimeter 42, remember all the outside adds up to 42, which means now I can go on to find the leftover lengths, and there are 2 lengths involved. So work out the 2 lengths. So to find the 2 lengths, you have to use your sum of sides, which is the 42, minus away the 2 breadth, minus away your 12, which will be 30 cm. Now we can, of course, go on to find 1 length already. Okay, just do the division, 30 divided by 2, which should give us 15 cm. Question 10. The area of the square is twice the area of the rectangle. Find the length of one side of the square. Okay, so do take note, this time we are dealing with area and area. So nothing to do with perimeter for now. Okay, so our focus is to see which of these areas I can find first. Am I going to find the area of the square first, or do I find the area of the rectangle first? So we focus on one of them first. Okay, now if you look at the square, no measurements provided. So obviously finding area of square is useless for now. Okay, we look at a rectangle. There are 9 cm and 2 cm stated there, the length and the breadth. This definitely is helpful. Then that means you can find the area of the rectangle first. Okay, so I'm going to do just that. So area of rectangle. So remember, area means the amount of space inside the diagram. And this amount of space, the formula to use is length times the breadth to find area. So area of rectangle is length times the breadth, 9 times 2, which is 18 cm squared. Square cm actually, square centimeter. Alright, so that means I understand that this phrasing here is 18. I found this out. Which means if I look back at this twice, the linking word here, I can now move on to find the area of the square following the question. Okay, so go on to find area of square. So looking at this sentence, area of the square is twice the 18. Twice the 18 means your square, finding your square, you have to 18 times 2, which is 36 here. 2. Okay, now we're not done yet because the final question wants the length of one side of the square. We want this question mark here. Okay, so students, do not be confused. A lot of students, you will like, you know, a common mistake is you will always tend to do this, to write this down first. You will always tend to use 36 divided by 2, wrong. Or you go and do 36 divided by 4, wrong. Okay, you must always go back to your basic formula that you're aware of. Area is length times the breadth. For your square here, the length is this, the breadth is this. You have no idea what's the L, you have no idea what's the B for the square. You only know the area is 36. Dividing by 2 will not help. Okay, because of you always need two sides, what? No. Dividing by 2 is only if this is a plus and not a times. Something plus something to get 36. Okay, then yeah, you do 36 divided by 2. But this operation is a multiplication. Okay, so that's why divide by 2 is wrong. Next one, even worse, cannot. You tell me divide by 4, then you are thinking of perimeter already. Sure, a square has 4 equal sides, but 36 is not the perimeter, not the sum of the 4 sides. 36 is length times the breadth. That's why this one in red, I repeat, it's not correct. I'm going to erase this. Okay, so now, in order to find the side of the square, what we have to do is we put it like that. 36 equals to blank times the blank. The two blanks will be the length and the breadth respectively. Of course, these two blanks have to be the same answer because length and breadth are the same for a square. So this is where you go down the row of numbers starting from 1, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3. See which two same numbers multiply to give you 36. If you are good with your times table, you should observe it's a 6 times 6. Okay, so that means your side of the square, 6 cm here. This side also 6 cm. So there you go. That is your answer. Okay. Okay, question 11. So in a long jump competition, Aaron and Benson jumped the same distance, while Caleb jumped 0.18 meters more than Aaron. If the three boys jumped a total distance of 4.56 meters, how long did Aaron jump? Okay, so for a question like that, the best is to use a model to approach it because you have no idea how much Aaron has jumped. You also have no idea how much Benson has jumped. You also have no idea how much Caleb has jumped. Nothing given for each of the 3 points. The only thing that's given is comparison statements here. More than, and then this is same distance. Okay, so then with all these comparison words, it prompts you to draw a model. So Aaron, Benson, Caleb. So first sentence says that Aaron and Benson jumped the same distance. Same distance means I can draw equal size for Aaron and Benson. Just follow the question. Next one says that Caleb jumped 0.18 more than Aaron. Aaron here is a unit. We treat this as 1 unit now. So if I want to draw Caleb, it will be bigger. Has to be bigger, of course. because Caleb jumped 0.18 more. So cut it. This is your 0.18 meters. Now, don't change it to cm. Leave it in meters. Some of you have this strong tendency, you have this strong urge to change all the meters to cm. I know it has been a habit for your lower primary work, but starting from now, since you have learned decimals, start getting comfortable with decimals. Furthermore, the question wants your answer in meters. What for you change this to cm? Later it's very troublesome. You gotta re-change it back to meters. And what if you forget to do that? Okay, so since it's meters, meters, and meters here already, keep it. Don't convert. Okay, next one is total distance, 4.56 meters, like this. And there you go. This is like back to your comparison model basics from your earlier topics. Okay, so you should observe that we can find 3 units now, 1, 2, and 3, this value of 3 units, by using your total minus of the 0.1. So let's work that out. Okay, 3u. Okay, so to find 3 units means I have to use 4.56 meters minus 0.18 meters. All right, so if you work this out, 4.56 minus 0.18, this should give us 4.38 meters. I'll trust that you're able to do your side workings correctly. Then, of course, next step is always to find 1 unit. Okay, we do the division, divide by 3. Oops, sorry. My bad, I calculated wrongly. Should be 4.38, not 4.18. Okay, so 4.38, which also means here is a 4.38. Okay, so if you divide this by 3, you should have 1.46 meters. This is for 1 unit. Okay, so read the question again. After you find one, you always see who are we interested in. We want Aaron. Aaron is 1u, so there you go. You already have answer. 1.46 meters. Okay, question 12. The price of apples sold in the shop is as follows. So notice the pricing is different. When you buy 1 apple, it's 90 cents. But if you buy a pack of 5 apples, it's $3.75. Now, questions like that, whereby they present you 2 different pricings, means that one of it is definitely more worth your money. So you see, 1 apple is 90 cents. If you were to buy 5 separate apples, that means 5 times 90 cents. 5 times 90 cents is actually $4.50. Okay, I'm just going to write a side note, quick side note. So if you compare 5 versus 1, okay, let's say I decide to buy 5 separate apples. Okay, 5 separate apples means 5 times 90 cents. And 5 times 90 cents is actually $4.50. Can you see? Of course, that means my pack of 5 here, is more worth the money. It's cheaper. In a way, it's like cheaper as compared to if I were to buy 5 separate apples. So obviously, this 375 is definitely a good pricing that you should prioritize first. Okay, so let's look at the what Alice has bought or what she wants to buy. She wants to buy 12. What is the least amount of money she has to pay? Okay, if you're buying 12 apples, confirm you won't be just buying all the 90 cents apple because it's not worth your money. Like we agreed, what is more worth is your 375. So what you should do is focus on figuring out how many packs can she buy first. Remaining apples, there might be remaining apples, then no choice, she used the 90 cents pricing. Okay, so your pack of 5 apples will be like your one group. So this is actually sort of like a grouping concept. Okay, 5 apples, one group, $3.75. And do take note, the shop can only sell this in a pack. You cannot ask them to separate out the 5 apples for you. You can't. Okay, so the thing is, it must be strictly sold in a group like that. A pack is like a group. So this, let's call it one pack or one group, up to you. All right. Now, for 12 apples, how many packs can I buy? So this is where your division comes in. 12 apples, you divide by 5. Now, for this answer, you should not have a decimal. I know you will expect a remainder, but okay. So when you do your long division, right, do not add on the point zero behind to bring down the zero, and then your quotient end up being a decimal. It shouldn't be, because you must be clear what the division represents. The division represents the number of packs. You can't have like 3.5 packs or 3.6 packs. You can't. Packs must be whole numbers. Okay, so if you do the division, you should realize you should have two packs. Okay, two packs, two whole packs. But of course, since I can't put it as a decimal, I put it as a remainder. Express your answer as a remainder. Okay, so two packs is how many? Two packs is 10 apples. Right, one pack is 5. Two packs will be 10 apples. Remainder, you just take 12 minus 10 apples, which is 2 apples. All right, but let's be very clear on something. The first two here represents the packs. 2 packs. The division A is to give me 2 packs. This 2 here represents the apples, the leftover apples that she needs to purchase. She still needs to purchase 12, don't forget. Okay, bear that in mind. We will settle that later. Let's do the 2 packs first. Now shift our focus to this. The least money she has to pay. Okay, sorry, I forgot to mention something. If you want to spend least amount of money, of course you prioritize the item that's more worth your money first. Okay, yeah, I think I only briefly mentioned just now. So the fact that the question asked for least, that's why I know I have to make sure I put importance on the pack of 5 first, rather than putting importance on the 90 cents. Okay, that's how you spend as little as possible, right? Now, the question now want money, shift your focus to money. Okay, ask yourself, one pack, how much money do you see? So one pack, I see the money is $3.75. You see, I don't write apples now. I shift my focus to writing money because that's what the final question wants. Once I get number of packs, just shift your focus to what they want really. Okay. Now since I paid for 2 packs, okay, at least paid for 2 packs. Let's find the cost of these 2 packs then. So it's 375 times 2, right? So if you do your multiplication for this, you should have $7.15. Okay. Now, but remember, 2 packs is only 10 apples. One pack is 5 apples, 2 packs only 10 apples. At least want to get 12 apples. This is where she has to buy another remaining 2 apples. She has to get another extra 2 apples to make up for 12 apples. So this remaining 2 apples, she cannot purchase from the pack. Okay, so no choice of these 2 apples, she purchased the separate price. One apple is 90 cents. The 2 apples, okay, the 2 apples that she purchased here, let me just color code this. Okay, this one goes to here. So these 2 apples simply will be 90 cents times 2, which is $1.80. Okay, so finally we can find the total she has to pay already, 750 plus the $1.80. And that means that she has to pay $9.30. So this is the answer. Okay, so it involves grouping concept for this. Okay, section C, question 13. So a dress and 5 identical t-shirts cost $132.50. Okay, and a dress and 2 of the identical t-shirts cost $75.80. what is the cost of one t-shirt? So the first thing I'll do is I'll write down two equations that represents these two sentences. So the first sentence, a dress means one dress. I'll start off with that. And they say five identical t-shirts. So since they use the word and, means it's an addition. One dress plus five t-shirts. So my capital T stands for t-shirt, D stands for dress. Okay, and this is equals to $132.50. All right. Now the next is a dress. It will be the same dress. All right, so one dress plus two t-shirts this time equals to 75.80. All right. So now we're going to compare these two equations. So the best thing about these two equations is that they share something in common. They both have something in common. Okay, so you should be able to observe that the dress is the common item, right? Both are one dress and one dress each. Okay, so that means I can go on to get rid of the dress by taking the difference between the two equations. Okay, so basically, I'm going to proceed to find difference. And the good thing about this is when I find the difference, what is eventually left will be three t-shirts because 5 minus 2. Okay, so this will be three t-shirts left on the left-hand side. Now, to find the cost of three t-shirts, it simply means the difference between these two pricing also. So 152, sorry, 132, not 152. Okay, 132.50 minus the 75.80. Okay, so you should go on to do your calculations and you should achieve $56.70 for these three t-shirts. All right, so when I find the difference, I repeat again, when I find the difference between these two equations, I'm getting three t-shirts because 5t minus 2 t-shirts. Okay, and at the same time, I'm getting rid of the dress. I got rid of the dress. I managed to remove the dress because 1D, 1D, they're the same thing. All right, which also means the price difference will be 56.70. So now moving forward, I will go on to find the cost of one t-shirt. Always go on to find the cost of one unit or one item. This is where you divide by 3 to find one t-shirt. Okay, so if you have done your long division, every one t-shirt you should have $18.90. All right, so if you read back the final question, they ask for the cost of one t-shirt. There you go, you already have the cost of one t-shirt. Okay, so that will be our answer, 3 marks, $18.90. All right. Okay, we are on the last question, question 14. Okay, so it looks like a very long question, but don't worry, let's break down the information first. Okay, so this is a museum of ice cream. Basically, it's a museum where you get to see all the ice cream in different flavors. And the entrance fees are shown here. Adult ticket is this price. Child ticket, we don't know yet. It's a question mark. Now, they also offer us a package price. Okay, so of course, package price usually it's a pretty good deal. Okay, they want to encourage families to come together, so that's why they introduce a family package. So two adults, total two adults is only $55. First two children, 15.90 each. Take note the word each makes a difference. Additional child, that means the third child onwards. Third child onwards pay $12 each. Okay, so part A, Mrs. Ling brought her two children under the age of 12 to the museum and she paid 61.90. What is the entrance fee for a child under 12 years old? This is what she paid. All right, she only has two children. Okay, so in this case, she will not be entitled to the family package in this case. And also, this is family package is only for weekends. She went on a Wednesday, which is a weekday. Okay, so weekday, no choice, I have to follow the usual ticket price on the left-hand side here. All right. So she paid 61.90, but you don't know how much is the child ticket. So what we're going to do is we are going to take away the adult ticket price first so that we can find how much she paid for her children. Okay, so I'm going to say cost of two children. Mrs. Lim went with her two children. It's just one adult and two children, right? So if it's just one adult and two children, in this case means I will use the 61.90 minus of Mrs. Lim's ticket. Mrs. Lim's ticket is adult ticket, so minus 28.90. Okay, unless they say she went with her husband, lah, but she didn't, right? She herself, the only adult, brought two kids. So the two children together cost $33. Okay, you can put 33.00, that's fine also. Now, which means I can find the cost of one child. Okay, singular is child. So this is where the division comes in, $33 divided by 2. So if you did the long division, you should have a $16.50. So they ask you, what is the entrance fee for a child under 12 years old? So there you go. One child costs $16.50. Don't forget to write your dollar sign. Okay, part B. Mr. and Mrs. Tan brought their 3 children under the age of 12 on Saturday. How much did they pay for the tickets altogether? Okay, so it's a Saturday, it's a weekend. So finally, you can focus on the weekend family package. And also the good thing is there's 2 adults, Mr. and Mrs. Tan, and they brought 3 children. Okay, so of course the family package is a really good deal for them. Okay, so let's look at what they have to pay for each category. So 2 adults, all right, $55. So this one definitely, yes, they will pay $55. It's not $55 for one adult. It's $55 for 2 adults together. All right. So maybe we'll write down Mr. and Mrs. Tan. They both together paid $55. Now, first 2 children, they have 3 children. Okay, so we settle the first 2 children price first. So first 2 children, they paid 15.90 each. Each means per child. All right. So the first 2 child, okay, so maybe we'll call it child, maybe, yeah, maybe just the first 2 children. First 2 kids. Okay, that means you have to use your 15.90 times 2 because it's each. So it's for 2 children each. So if you have done your multiplication, you should have $31.80. Okay, now let me write on the fast, so fast. Okay, now the next one is the third child. Okay, don't forget they have 3 children. So the third child will be under the additional child of $12 each. So third child, I'll just write third, is $12. So finally, we can sum everything up to find how much they are paying, right? So $55 plus $31.80 plus $12. And that gives us $98.80. Okay, and there you go. This is our answer. So it's not that difficult after all. It may seem complicated, but actually when you break down the information, it's actually pretty straightforward to infer from there. Okay, so that's all. This is the end. So thank you very much.